The Vanishing of the Sodder Children. It was Christmas Eve, Fayetteville, West Virginia, 1945. The Sodder family home was full of warmth, laughter, and the comforting chaos of 10 children excited for Christmas morning. The smell of pine needles, the flicker of candlelight, wrapped presents under the tree. A fire gently crackled in the hearth, unaware that hours later, fire of another kind would swallow the house whole. By sunrise, 5 of them would be gone, not taken, not buried, just gone. A fire had consumed the house. But where were the bodies? This wasn't just a house fire. This was something else. A disappearance, a deception, a mystery that still burns. George and Jenny Sodder were Italian immigrants who built a life from nothing. Hard-working, proud, and respected in their community, they raised 10 children in a 2-story wooden home near the edge of Fayetteville. George ran a successful trucking company. Jenny tended to the home and children. They were living the American dream until it was torn apart, one ember at a time. On the night of December 24th, 1945, the family celebrated together. They exchanged small gifts, sang songs, and the younger children eagerly hung their stockings, whispering excitedly about Santa Claus. Outside, snow blanketed the hills. Inside, warmth and joy filled every room. At around 10 p.m., Jenny and George went to bed, leaving the older children, Maurice, 14, Martha, 12, Louis, 9, Jenny, 8, and Betty, 5, still awake, playing with toys. They'd been allowed to stay up a little later, enjoying the magic of the holiday. By 1 a.m., Jenny was awakened by a strange phone call. A woman's voice asked for someone who didn't live there. She laughed oddly. Jenny later said she heard glasses clinking and other voices in the background. She hung up, uneasy. Moments later, she noticed the lights were still on downstairs. The curtains were open, doors unlocked. Odd for a family with a strict routine. She turned everything off, assumed the children had fallen asleep in the attic, and went back to bed. At 1:30 a.m., Jenny was jolted awake again, this time by a loud bang on the roof, followed by a rolling noise. Then, silence. By 1:45 a.m., smoke began filling the home. The house was on fire. George and Jenny escaped with 4 of their children, but 5 were trapped inside. Or so they thought. George tried to reach the attic, but flames blocked the staircase. He broke a window and cut himself badly. He raced outside to grab his ladder, but it was missing. He tried to start his coal trucks to climb onto the roof. Neither would start, despite working the day before. The phone line was dead. A neighbor ran to the fire station, but help didn't arrive until 8 a.m., 7 hours after the fire began. By then, the house had collapsed into smoldering ash. The fire burned hot, but not hot enough to leave nothing behind. And here's where things got strange. Authorities claimed the children had died in the fire, but no bones were found, no teeth, no skulls, not even ashes. Experts say even in intense house fires, bone fragments almost always survive. House fires, especially in wooden homes, don't reach the extreme temperatures required to incinerate bone completely. Jenny Sodder tested this herself. She burned animal bones in the stove. They never disintegrated. A crematorium confirmed bones remain after 2 hours at 2,000 degrees. The Sodder house burned at far lower heat for far less time. The official cause? Faulty wiring. But George had recently had the system inspected. The electrician said it was safe. During the fire, the Christmas lights were on until the house was nearly engulfed. If wiring had failed, wouldn't the power have gone out immediately? The phone line had been cut, not burned. Days later, the missing ladder was found down an embankment 75 feet from the house, as if someone had deliberately hidden it. And a man claimed he'd seen someone taking items from the Sodder property the night of the fire. A bus driver said he saw balls of fire being thrown onto the roof. Later, the family found a strange green object in the ashes, possibly a napalm-like device used in warfare. George believed it may have been a grenade or phosphorus-based incendiary. Theories began to form. Theory 1: kidnapping by the mafia. George had strong political views. He was openly critical of Mussolini and fascism. In their small West Virginian community, that wasn't often a problem, but not everyone agreed with him. Could he have angered someone in the Italian-American community? Was this revenge? Did someone take the children to silence George? The family believes the children were taken, possibly by an underground network, and raised elsewhere, too afraid to contact home. Theory 2: human trafficking. Could this have been an early case of child abduction for trafficking? The fire was a distraction, a cover-up. Authorities failed to find remains because there were no remains. But if so, why no contact from any of the children in all the years that followed? Why no letters, no phone calls, no sightings where identities were confirmed, unless they were threatened? Or perhaps they were raised believing their real family was gone. Theory 3: death by fire, denial and grief. Skeptics argue that George and Jenny simply couldn't accept the truth, that the fire had consumed the children beyond recognition, that grief had twisted into obsession. But this doesn't explain the missing bones, the cut phone line, the sightings, the photo, the green object, or the missing ladder and dead trucks. Too many inconsistencies, too many gaps. Months passed. Then came the reports. A woman said she saw the children peering out of a passing car during the fire. Another woman, working at a motel 50 miles away, said she saw 4 of the Sodder children with 2 men and 2 women, none of whom resembled George or Jenny. She said, "They were quiet. The adults were speaking Italian. Every time I approached, they turned their backs." A few years later, Jenny received a letter postmarked from Kentucky, with no return address. Inside was a photo of a young man in his 20s. On the back, Louis Sodder. "I love Brother Frankie. Illil boys, a 90132 or 35. The resemblance to Louis was shocking. Jenny believed it was him. George wasn't so sure. Still, the photo became a part of their investigation, a thread they could never pull hard enough. Was it a cruel prank, or a hidden message? The Sodders hired private investigators. They followed leads across the country. They even went to New York and Florida in search of answers. Every tip, every whisper of a sighting, they followed it. They erected a giant billboard along Route 16. It showed the photos of the missing children and asked for help. It stood for nearly 40 years, a daily public cry for answers. It became a landmark in West Virginia, a roadside monument to grief, mystery, and defiance. George died in 1969. Jenny in 1989, still wearing black mourning clothes every day until her death. The surviving Sodder children continued the search privately, well into the 2000s. The case faded from the headlines, but it never faded from the hearts of those who knew the family. Even today, forums and amateur sleuths discuss it. It is considered one of the most enduring cold cases in American history. But no answers ever came. A house burned, 5 children vanished, no remains, no justice, no closure. The official record says they perished in a tragic fire. But if that's true, where are the bones? And if it's not, who took them? Why? And did they ever try to come home?